All right, guys, we have Danny Duggan here on the Jordan Garber Now news update for November 30th, and he is promoting CWE Livestream, a great event online to all CWE fans across the world. First of all, reflecting on the whole entire history of the company, all to this big event, you're going to have a lot of global viewership. How much are you looking forward to that?
I'm really looking forward to it because this is an event that was supposed to take place in Winnipeg on this day in front of a live audience. But unfortunately, with all the COVID restrictions, we got to go underground. We got to do it private, and we have to stream it online, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because the really cool thing about Canadian Wrestling's Elite is we have produced events now in over 50 Canadian cities, and we have fans in each and every one of those cities that will now have the opportunity to tune into the live stream free of charge and check out the CWE Championship Tournament. So we're going to crown a brand new CWE champion, which I'm sure we're going to talk about as the interview goes on. And you don't have to be in our home city of Winnipeg to see it. You can be anywhere in the world now and see this unfold before your very eyes, which is something really cool. And I'm really excited about that. I'm going to, have a lot of new eyes on the product that otherwise I might not be able to check out this event.
Absolutely. A lot of new faces, a lot of new listeners, that's for sure. And to kick things off with the matches here, the Fatal 4-Way for number one contenders match for this one CWE 123 approved.ca Hardcore Championship. Before I talk about the Hardcore Championship, Brian Christopher did a legendary commercial for that was on CWE TV way back in the day. Can you reflect on that? Just some memories with doing that? Because, there's a lot of legacy with 123approved.ca and CWE.
Yeah, they've been a sponsor with us for, pretty much the entirety of our run. I think they came on board, maybe a little bit into year 2, and they've been with us now going on to year 12. So they've been a really big supporter of Canadian Wrestling's Elite. If you're looking for a motor vehicle or auto financing, 123approved.ca. They'll take care of you. But it's funny you mentioned that commercial. I just came across that the other day for the first time in years, and that's a legendary commercial. Even just within the circle of the boys on the road, we like to bring it up and laugh sometimes. It's so outrageous. Hey yo, it's me, Brian Christopher, and it's quite comical, and it's definitely fit with CWE at the time. And that title it's started off way back then. It was the Open Rules Championship. And then it got, unified with the CWE Championship when we kind of stepped away from that. And then it came back as the 123 approved.ca TV Championship. And Mike Mission, who's actually in this number one contenders match, was able to rip that away from Tommy Lee Curtis, who was champion at the time, and rechristen it the Hardcore Championship. And now here in 2020, Canadian Strong Style, Rob Stardom holds that title. But up until recently, he also held the tag team titles. So he was kind of going back and forth between both events, defending, each title each different time. Now he just has the Hardcore Championship, and there are a lot of targets on his back. And for those men putting those targets there are going to be competing for an opportunity at a future shot at Rob Stardom at a future CWE event. So the winner of that Fatal 4-Way match, is going to get the opportunity to get Canadian Strong Style up close and personal.
That's correct, and I believe that's Cliff Corleone against the Misfit Mike Mission against Kevin Cannon and Tommy Lee Curtis, I believe, in there. No,
Corey Diamond.
Corey Diamond, and man, is he a contender. He was on the CWE preview show last time with a strong message for Easy Riders. So Corey Diamond is really hungry, and I'm going to consider him my pick for that match, just because I can just see the fire in his eyes. But what's your prediction for this match?
Man, it's a tough one. You got two former CWE Hardcore champions in there, in Mike Mission and Big Cliff. Corey Diamond has held Hardcore championships in other organizations, as has Kevin Cannon. Whew, if I had to go out on a limb, I'm going to go with my boy Big Cliff Corleone. He's my big favorite going into that one.
Absolutely. He does have a size advantage, but Corey Diamond, in my opinion, does have that psychology, and Cliff Corleone has a lot of experience as well, but the only way we can find out is tuning in live to CWE live online stream. And there's going to be a triple threat match. It's two titles are going to be crowned, two new champions. Kind of before we go into this match, talk about the legacy of these titles and how important it is for the winners of these matches to be crowned the new champion, because it's not just any Canadian wrestling title, it's a Canadian Wrestling Elite Championship.
Yeah, it's 2020, and I'm sure we'll say it over and over again as it's just been such a strange time, and because of that, going into the spring tour, which was supposed to be our anniversary tour, ROH star, the Horror King, Vincent, he was the CWE champion, and the CWE Canadian Unified Junior Heavyweight Champion was the Zombie Princess Jimmy Jacobs. So unfortunately, when COVID hit, the borders closed down shortly after that. They're both American citizens, so they legally can't travel up to Canada to compete. So we held off, and we, the CWE management gave them quite leniency. Normally, if you don't defend the title over a certain period of time, there's going to be, calls for question if that title needs to be stripped or vacated. Given the circumstance, there's a lot of leniency given. And it wasn't up until, this past September, October, we decided, we got to get a new champion in there because it doesn't look like those borders are opening up anytime soon. And the great fans of Canadian wrestling deserve a champion that's going to be able to be live and be able to compete and defend that championship in front of them. And I think both those men as champions respect that and they understand that. And, the really cool thing about it is regardless of who comes out as a new champion on these events, whether it be the junior heavyweight champion or the CWE champion, both of those men, Vincent and Jimmy Jacobs, are guaranteed a rematch somewhere down the line when the borders do open up to have a claim at their championship. So whoever's going to walk away with the title, they're going to be celebrating one night, but they also got some big challenges ahead coming up in the future.
Absolutely, and the contenders in that match are Bobby Collins, Roy Cheeks, and Tyler James. Tyler James is on the program, and I'm going to say Bobby Collins for this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the safe money. He's a 3-time CWE Tag Team Champion. He's a former CWE TV Champion. Bobby Collins has been around since 1993, and he is the train that just keeps on giving. He will not slow down. He's going just as hard and just as aggressive as he was in day one. And, this is a really cool match. This was initially scheduled to be a suicidal 6-way with some different contenders in it. When this event was initially supposed to take place in front of a live audience, but due to some of the COVID restrictions and just to keep safety measures in place, the roster size has been downsized for this event, and half that match had to be taken out, unfortunately. But we got 3 of the top contenders in the division, and the really unique thing about it is, we got 3 guys kind of spanning 3 different eras of Winnipeg wrestling. You got Bobby Collins representing the 90s, early 2000s boom of Winnipeg wrestling, and then you have Tyler James, who is an upstart, a part of the big boost in Winnipeg wrestling in the early 2000s. And now you have Roy Cheeks, who just debuted in 2019. So you've got, 3-4 different decades covered of Winnipeg wrestling experience in this match. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it all culminates together and how it comes out as a finished match.
That's amazing. 3 different generations and 3 different styles. It should definitely be a good one. That's for sure. We have a new tag team on the scene as none other than Dick and Balls. That is correct.
Dick and Balls.
Dick and Balls. They're making their debuts here, and it's none other than the main vein Dick Blood and Adrian Burton, who has been very impressive as of late against none other than the champions AJ Sanchez and Kevin O'Doyle.
Not Adrian Burton. Adrian Big Balls Burton.
Big Balls Burton.
Never did I think, in the 12 years of Canadian Wrestling's Elite, I'd be sitting and doing an interview talking about how you could tune in to CWE for free live this Friday night and see Dick and Balls. But that's exactly what you're going to see Friday night. And Dick and Balls maybe walking out with some gold around their waists, I guess, if they're able to unseat AJ Sanchez and Kevin O'Doyle. They just won those championships back. They're on their 3rd reign as CWE Tag Team Champions. They've been defending them across Alberta where live events were still taking place. So they're mounting some momentum. It looks like they put some of their troubles behind them and they're back on the same track as being a tag team and being a dominant one. But there's an interesting, backstory. Somebody who's not maybe familiar with CWE's history might not, comes into play here. Dick Blood is one half of the longest reigning CWE Tag Team Champions of all time, alongside by the name of Billy Blaze. And how that match came to be is Darren Dalton and Mike Mission, I believe, were the Tag Team Champions at the time. They were running roughshod over everybody. They had defeated everybody in the Tag Team division. So one night they said, we beat everybody. There's nobody left. And they issued an open challenge for their titles. Dick Blood, Billy Blaze, 2 singles wrestlers came together for the first time that night, won those titles, and went on to the most historic reign in CWE history, one of the most popular tag teams in CWE history. And now we're kind of seeing a repeat of that with this match here. So Bobby Collins and Rob Stardom were originally scheduled to challenge in a rematch for the tag team titles. Unfortunately, due to some COVID restrictions, Rob Stardom cannot compete on the event. So management left the floor open. Who wants a shot? And here you've got Dick Blood now with a new partner. He's not blazing, but he's got big balls. Adrian Burton, and he's going to look to recreate that same success he did with Billy Blaze and upset the dominant tag team champion. So it's happened once for Dick before. If Dick's lucky, it'll happen again twice.
What I like about this match is we have experience and new generation as well. You know, you have veterans like AJ Sanchez and Dick Blood, and then you have newcomers like Adrian Big Balls Burton and, of course, Kevin O'Doyle, who's been extremely impressive. One of our most listened to interviews, actually, and I'm not surprised. So this match will definitely be a good one. And there's also a tournament to crown the vacant CWE heavyweight champion, and it all begins with Block A with former interviewee Travis Cole against Dragneel. That should be a very good match as well to see what happens. Travis makes his return as well, I believe. That's correct.
Yeah, he returned to CWE this past summer, and I've someone who's probably the first to give him a lot of slack, but I'll be the first to give him credit. In the last 6 months, he's been quite an impressive role in Canadian Wrestling's elite. He's doing exactly what was asked and needed of him before he left, and that was just to develop and continue progressing as a great wrestler, to be considered one of the elite of Canadian wrestling. And he went and did that, and he's come back, and he's got some some extra pep in his step. He's got a point to prove. He's got a chip on his shoulder, however you want to put it. And, I had the opportunity to wrestle him in the second round of the Elite 8 tournament in Medicine Hat 3 weeks ago. And it's very likely I could end up meeting him again in the second round of this tournament as well. And if that is the case, I'm man enough to admit I'm going to have a fight, waiting for me, because on multiple occasions in Medicine Hat, he came that close to defeating me and going to the finals himself. So I think, both men are probably the underdogs going into this tournament, because they both have the least experience by probably at least 5, 6, 7 years compared to the other competitors. But with that, they have enthusiasm, and they have that opportunity they've been waiting for to make a big statement on a big stage. And that's exactly what that tournament's going to offer. And I would not be surprised, and I can say that as one of the competitors myself, if, the tournament ended with Travis Cole or Dragneel with the CWE championship holding above their head.
Very, very likely for those two very, very well-matched competitors. And that brings me into your match against Jordan Garber, now interviewing Jack Jesus, Tommy Lee Curtis in Block A as well. This guy, he's ready. I can just tell. You have a big match ahead of you. What are you going to do going into this?
Just go out there and fight for my life, man. This is the end of the road for Hotshot Danny Duggan. This is probably the last opportunity I'm going to get in CWE for at least a considerable amount of time if I don't make it count. It's been a tough 2020. I've come up short in some very big matches, and nobody knows that better than me, because I have to go home and I have to live with that guilt and that regret of what I should have done or what I didn't do. And Tommy Lee Curtis is kind of coming back with the same idea. He left CWE about a year ago since we last seen him. And, he's probably the most bitter man in Canadian wrestling. Some have said even more bitter than Bret Hart, if that's possible. But he is kind of like the Bret Hart of Westman, Manitoba, so it all makes sense. But with that being said, I've got a tough fight ahead of me. I know he's been out on the farm in Westman training, just getting ready, doing unconventional ways of training and getting ready for
Rocky
this match.
Training. Almost.
Yeah, and I know he hasn't wrestled since the spring, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It means, he hasn't been getting the reps in the same way I have been, so I know I'm going to be coming in with my fundamentals a little bit tighter. But at the same time, he's been cooped up in a house and wanting to fight since the spring. So when that bell rings, he's going to be a house of fires if he's been gimmicked up all day and all night long. And that's exactly the Tommy Lee Curtis I'm expecting, and that's exactly the kind of Tommy Lee Curtis I'm going to be preparing for.
If anybody followed Winnipeg wrestling back in the day, especially in the 90s, they would love this match right here in Block B. None other than former NWA Canadian champion Easy Rider against former CWE champion Outlaw Adam Knight. That's huge. That is a huge match. However, I'm going to say Adam Knight on this one, but Easy Rider is no easy contest. What are your thoughts?
Man, you want to talk about a dream match for Manitoba wrestling fans. This might be a dream match they didn't even know they wanted until they heard it. Now people are really excited that it's happening, because when you think Easy Rider, you think Adam Knight. You almost take for granted those names, because we've been so blessed to have two great veterans as talented and as accomplished as them in this territory for the last 25, 30 years. So you think Easy Rider, Adam Knight, I see them all the time. but you've never really seen them in the same place, nor in the same ring in over 20 years. So they've both made a huge name for themselves for various organizations, CWE included. And for the first time, you know, since Adam Knight's become a veteran himself and a well-accomplished international traveled star, these two men are going to get in the ring. So I'm really excited to sit back, and I'm very glad I don't have either one of these men in the first round, but it's a reality I could have one of them further down the line in the finals. But this is going to be a hard-hitting match. You're not getting two technically sound wrestlers, and that's not because they're not capable. They're incredibly well-sound technical wrestlers. But you're not getting two athletic, high-flying athletes in there. You're not getting two young upstarts. You're getting two grizzled, tough, mean men who you would not want to run into in a back alley. You don't want to be caught accidentally talking to his girl at the bar, because they will smash your face down your throat. And that's exactly what both men are capable of. I've been on the receiving end of that many times by Adam Knight. And, you know, just based on that alone, I've never had the honor of getting in the ring and competing against Easy Rider. So just solely based on my experience getting my own ass kicked by Adam Knight as severely as I have over the years, I'm going to have to go with Adam Knight as well in this one.
I remember when he was CWE champion and his reign was almost unstoppable for a very, very long amount of time.
Yeah, and that all started with me, man. That all started with destroying Hotshot Danny Duggan and going undefeated for 2 years after that and winning that CWE championship. And he's never, you know, he had one rematch after losing that title, and since then he hasn't been in the title picture. So this is what Adam Knight's been waiting for. He's just been sitting on the sidelines, breaking skulls as he get called upon to do so, but he's been waiting for something to sink his teeth into. And unfortunately for Easy Rider, that's going to be him on Friday night.
And last but not least, Johnny Devine, Honey Badger, who will be on the show in the future, our big name for the month, against none other than the Zombie Killer Mental. That Western Canadian wrestling fans, that reminds me so much of like Stampede Wrestling in itself back in the day. This match is going to be a classic. What are your thoughts? I'm going to say Johnny Devine.
I've been saying, you know, for, you know, pretty much the entirety of my career when I do an interview that the wrestlers in Canada are highly underappreciated, undervalued, underestimated. And this match will back that up, because if anyone anywhere in the world tunes into this, you're going to see two of the very best Canadian wrestlers of all time. And I hope and pray that my match isn't right before or right after these guys, and I can take a few minutes between my preparation for my match and my stretching and getting ready to watch this. And if I don't, I'll definitely be making it a first priority when the tournament is done, because this will be a wrestling classic. You've got two 25-year veterans who have traveled the world, wrestled on national television, have competed with the major organizations. This will be a true wrestling classic. If you are a pure wrestling fan, it doesn't get better than this, and that's exactly what I am, and I'm really excited to see it. And I know very well, depending on who wins this match, there's a good chance whoever wins this match you're going to see in the finals, because these are two of the cream of the crop in Western Canada, if not all. I shouldn't say not if, only all of Canada, if not North America. These two are the best of the best, and whoever gets them following this match, they're going to have a tough ride for them.
Definitely. CWE live online stream. It is free. However, donations are strongly encouraged. Where can people, you know, send in some money to help you and your organization out?
Yeah, like you mentioned, so it's free. We're putting it on the Facebook page because, you know, Canadian Wrestling's elite, just like everybody else. You know, we're like our friends, our family, our fans. Times are tough right now. Not everyone's able to work. Not everyone's able to generate an income, and that goes for CWE as well. So if you're not in a financial position to enjoy the show, we want you to still be able to do so. We don't want you to feel like you're left out. You're just a part of the team, and you have supported us when you can. So please tune in for free, join the show, enjoy it, interact with the other viewers, and let's all have some magic on Friday night. But like you mentioned, we are accepting donations. If you are in a position to do so, if you're still working, you're financially okay to do so, and you appreciate the entertainment that's being put forward in front of you on that evening, you can make a donation, DannyDuggan@gmail.com. That's e-transfer or PayPal, and that goes directly to the company pot to help compensate the wrestlers that are performing on the event, as well as help the company, you know, recoup some of the costs from the, you know, dozen or so canceled events over the last few months. months as we keep trying to keep this thing alive and floating and going into 2021. So we're really striving to keep Canadian wrestling alive, and we'd love to have you a part of the ride. And no matter how or little or not at all support you can offer, we want you here with us. So please join us Friday night.
So say someone tunes in, they make a donation, but they're really enjoying the show. They want to buy like a piece of merchandise or something. Where can they do that? Where can they search on Facebook?
You can go to prowrestlingtees.com/CWE Canada. There's some individual wrestler shirts on there. There's the CWE shirt on there. Or go to Facebook and type in Hotshots Retro Rewind, and you'll get my wrestling collectibles page. There's some CWE authentic merchandise on there, as well as all kinds of collectibles from WWF, WWE, ECW, WCW, Japan, Ring of Honor, you name it, it's all on there. So if you're looking for some wrestling merchandise for yourself or for your loved ones these holidays, go check out Hotshots Retro Rewind or prowrestlingtees.com/CWE Canada.
Also, for our non-pro wrestling listeners, if they're still watching this, they can still check out Hotshots Retro Rewind and Collectibles, because they also sell comic books among all those non-wrestling related things as well. So
yeah,
something for everyone.
We started to get a little bit of that stuff in as well. So yeah, definitely come check us out. Keep supporting. Before COVID hit, we were expecting to do another 120 plus live events this year. So my inventory is stocked up from a lot of purchases that were made to be put out across the country for wrestling fans to take in and enjoy throughout the year at all these different live events that never got the opportunity. So stay tuned to the website. There's gonna be lots of sales, lots of clearance as we try to make some room and get some wrestling merchandise in fans' hands just in time for Christmas.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to CWE live online stream. Danny, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you.